out of suit video today. In one of my last shorts, somebody had made the comment that it was nice to see like my authentic self, because I was like out of my suit for that one short, and I thought it was kind of funny because I was like, I feel like when I'm in my suit, I am my more authentic self. But I thought like a full-on face reveal out of suit would be kind of fun to do. And today I wanted to take advantage of that to read to you guys. So I have two of my favorite fantasy books from when I was a kid. Of course, my mother got me both of them because she I don't even know how she found them, but she has good taste for my young me. So the first is Blue Moon Mountain, and this one is about a girl who wants to meet the unicorn, and she goes to go and meet him and all the other creatures on the way. And then the second is a book of poems called Creatures, and this was always something I thought was really fun too. I wasn't like a big poetry kid, but this had some like nice, like fairy and spooky type stories and poems in it. So I thought I would read both of these for you guys today. I think I'm gonna start with Blue Moon Mountain and then we'll go with Creatures. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. And if you do, I will do some more like out of suit videos, but I don't think it's not gonna be like a priority. You'll still get free ASMR out of me. So I will do my best to show the pictures like as I'm reading, because of course they are illustrated, and I think they have some these have some really beautiful illustrations, like just the side bits with all the, there we go, all of the details that they put into this is really amazing. So I think I'll show before. I gotta like a peek so I can make sure that like I'm showing the whole thing in frame. Alright, here we go. Once in a blue moon, as they say, the owl roars, and the lion hoots, and the magpie sings in key. The sparkling moonlight touches the ground, soft and sticky, then hard and bright, crackling beneath the softest step. And this white path leads across yard and garden, town and down, shore and moor, to Blue Moon Mountain. There, do you see, where the steep rocks look like castles, and the clouds like flapping flags. Only sleepers who sleep with their face to the window have ever seen such sights or such nights, and only the very brave, or the very foolish, have dared to follow that white, bright path. But Joy was born on a blue moon night. She chose clothes the color of fire, and liked white, and liked weather white with ice. And she dreamed dreams that were full of unicorns, and was forever asking her parents for stories and pictures of them. And then we have the owl, and down here is the lion, and then Joy running the path to Blue. So when Joy woke on a blue moon night, with a splash of moon in her face, her eyes were no sooner open than her feet were on the floor. For a step or two, the moonlight oozed and stuck and lifted on the soles of her feet. Then, as she started to run, it crackled like eggshells. "Where are you going?" roared the owl. "Where are you running?" hooted the lion. "To find the unicorn," she cried. The path led her through the yard. The flowers had no color, and even the pond's fish were not gold in the blue moonlight. The path led her through the town, but no one saw her go. The downs were grassy, and the shore was sandy, and the moor was sharp with rocks. But the blue moon path was as smooth as a tambourine, and her feet went drum, drum, drum as she ran. Overhead, the moon grew bigger and bigger from the winding together the white winds of the world, and all the winds and all the whispers like a white ball of wool. And when Joy finally stood and looked around her on Blue Moon Mountain, the moonlight glimmered in 100 eyes, watching, watching. "Who's there? Who are you? I can see you. Come out," she called. A winged piece of the mountain as big as a hill gaped its jaws. "Where do they all live? The ones who don't exist? After the stories are over, where do they never end? That is my riddle. Solve it who can." Try to repeat. A paw touched Joy on the shoulder. "That's the Sphinx," said a wolf, who appeared by her side. "Don't mind her. She never smiles." "Oh, I'm sorry," said Joy. "Why, is she sad?" "As sad as the rest of us," answered the wolf. "It is rather sad, we find, not to exist." "But you must exist," said Joy, "because I can see you." "Ah, well," said the wolf darkly. Then he broke off. "Forgive me saying so, but you don't seem very afraid." "Not at all. I'm sorry, should I be? I hope you're not offended." "Not at all," said the wolf. "But I think it is only my duty to warn you who I am. Do you know the story of Little Red Riding Hood, or the Three Pigs? Well, I'm the big bad wolf." Joy looked at the wolf with her head on one side. "I see," she said. "But you're not very big, and you seem rather friendly." "Oh, thank you," said the wolf. "But you know what stories are. Someone has to be bad. The giant, the troll, the wolf." Either the moon was growing brighter, or her eyes were getting used to the dark, for all of a sudden Joy could make out other creatures walking on the mountain. There was a lion with wings, and another with the head of an eagle. There was a man made of snow, and another with the body of a horse. There were giant lizards and dragons coiled around the roots of trees. "I expect you'll run away now," said the wolf sadly. But Joy said, "Certainly not, for surely here on this strange mountain she would find her unicorn." The big bad wolf seemed pleased. One by one he introduced her to the beasts of Blue Moon Mountain. "This is the Hydra that Hercules fought, and this is a snake-headed Gorgon. You remember how, in the story, Perseus had to kill one without looking at it? But Joy was too young to know the stories. "I'm sorry, I thought you were a tree," she said, turning to the Hydra. "And how lovely not to have to brush your hair in the morning," she said to the Gorgon. "And this is the cockatrice, who travelers said could strike a man dead just by one glance of its—" "What nice eyes," said Joy, who was too young to know the story of the cockatrice. "And does the unicorn live here too?" Yes, it's here somewhere. But first let me introduce the Gulan of Sweden. Magicians hunt him for his teeth and paws. And here, the fire-breathing dragon." "I'm very pleased to meet you," said Joy. "I suppose you can cook your own dinner before you eat it." "And this is the giant from the top of the beanstalk, and this is the troll who lives under the Billy Goat's Bridge. Don't catch cold in those wet clothes," said Joy. At the far side of Blue Moon Mountain lay a great lake. Mermaids and water sprites relaxed on the shore, flicking their fishy tails in the surf. The sea monster orc splashed about in the shallows, showering them with spray. The big bad wolf carried Joy down to the waterside to meet them on his soft brown back. "This mountain is very crowded," she said. "There's nowhere else we can go," sighed the wolf. "When all those stories and legends are finished, we've served our purpose, haven't we? We've proved how brave brave the hero of the story is to have fought us, or killed us, or escaped our fearful paws. Of course, the storytellers never say anything good about us. How fierce it was, they say. How hideous, how dangerous, how huge, how wicked. And we're not really like that at all. They only say it to prove that they are good and brave. It's not easy, you know, when no one wants to know you. We dare not leave the mountain, you see. People out there would be too afraid because of all those stories. Mostly they choose to say we don't exist at all, except in their imaginations. Oh, but that's such a shame. After all, you're so beautiful, cried Joy. The wolf blushed. But you're marvelous. Look how golden the woven scales are. Look how the cockatrice dances, how the salamander glows in the dark. Look at the dear little cataplepus. I've always dreamed of seeing a unicorn, of course, but I never knew there were so many other creatures just as fine. A murmur ran up and down the mountain. She says we are fine, says we're marvelous, says we're all as lovely as the unicorn, and she's not frightened of us at all. What, not even of the kraken? Ah, the kraken. Which of you is the kraken? Asked Joy. He's out there, said the others, pointing over the deep, deep, dark blue lake. He's rising now. Listen, you can hear him. The lake is over 1,000 fathoms deep, and he rises from the bottom to the top. Only once on a blue moon, added the wolf. The wyvern trembled, the salamander shivered, the mermaids clung to the water sprites, and the cyclops shut his one eye. Even the beasts of Blue Moon Mountain were plainly afraid. Such a long, long time it took for the kraken to rise, the world's greatest monster from the world's deepest lair. But at last, one black tentacle waved around above the water, one, then two, then a forest of tentacles, each one with 1,000 suckers slippery with purple slime. Huge waves spread from the spot, broke on the shore, and the spray drenched them all. Many a monster shut its eyes. Oh, what a wonderful creature, cried Joy, and stood on tiptoe to wave back. She says the kraken's wonderful, murmured the griffin in surprise. Well, it is rather grand, I suppose, the Ghoulon thought aloud as he looked at the creature from the deep. Only one by one, the beasts waved back at the kraken waving its tentacles, and grew so excited that it stirred up breakers so huge that they almost touched the moon. Setting. Quick, you must leave the mountain before the white path breaks, said the wolf. But it was too late. As Joy ran back to the path, its eggshell whiteness changed beneath her feet to a sticky softness. It began to melt away. Oh, how shall I get home now? She cried. Not until the next blue moon, said the Sphinx darkly. And who can tell when that might be? Don't worry, one of the winged ones will fly you home, said the wolf smartly. Pegasus, the winged horse. Who, me? Said the horse. Leave the mountain after the moon has set. I cannot, I am too afraid. The giant rock then, suggested the wolf. It's no distance for a bird half as big as the sky. Who, me? Said the rock. Leave the mountain after the white path's dissolved. How would I find my way back? The griffin then, or the harpy, or the simurgh, or a rift of fairies. But none of the winged ones dared to make the journey so close to the setting of the moon. I shall take her. It was the phoenix. I'm near my end, so So I'll soon begin again, it said puzzlingly. Won't you ride upon my back, girl child? The creatures all cheered, and yet even Joy was a little afraid. The elderly phoenix was starting to turn every red into smoke at the wingtips. He was quite hot to the touch. She slipped between his great wings and clung tight around his neck, and the phoenix soared into the sky just as the moon began to sink behind the mountain. I know the answer to your riddle, Joy called to the Sphinx. On Blue Moon Mountain, that's where you live. The ones who don't exist. And after the stories are over, this is where they never end. Is that what you think? Called the Sphinx, who always answers everything with a question. Burst into flames, and the heat of the fire hatches the egg, and there I am, made new again. Oh, good, said Joy, hoping the phoenix would not burst into flames just yet. The white path melted beneath them as if rain had washed it away. They flew over moor and shore, down and down, the dark park and the lit street, the garden and the houses, and all the while the phoenix grew hotter and the moon sank lower in the sky. Home again, said the phoenix. Only just in time, hooted the lion. Did you see the unicorn? Roared the owl. Well, would you believe it? Exclaimed Joy. In the end, I quite forgot to look for it. Saving the best till last, said the vain creature. It was me she came to see, not you. She came to see me. I heard her say so. Why else would she come? I'm the most beautiful creature in all the world, and what are you? We're wonderful, said the other beasts and birds, swaggering up and down. She said so. We're beautiful. And suddenly it seemed as if all their sadness had melted along with the white moon path. If she thought you were wonderful, what would she think of me? Bragged the unicorn, and he sprang off the mountain and into the air, shouting, Look at me, girl child, look at me, look at me. It was a jump so huge that it crossed moor and shore, down and town, yard and garden, and the unicorn landed on the sill of Joy's bedroom window, just as the blue moon set. I am the unicorn, creature of myths and wishes, famed in story and history. May I come in? He said. Certainly, said Joy, opening the window. It's lovely to see you, but weren't you rather silly to leave the mountain? How will you get back? Oh, I don't know, said the unicorn, who was famously foolish. You'll have to wait, I suppose, until the next blue moon, said Joy, shaking her head. The unicorn hung its head. But if people see me, they'll chase me and try to catch me and lock me in a cage. Then I shall have to hide you here, said Joy. But you must be very quiet and only come out when I say so. So after that, Joy did not ask her father, draw me a unicorn, for she could look at one whenever she pleased. And she never asked her mother, tell me a story about unicorns, for she and her friend shared adventures enough in the secret dark. But often when she heard a story about the big bad wolf, or the troll, or the gorgon, dragons, she would interrupt and say, "Are you sure that's how they were?" She drew quite some marvelous pictures, too, though some people said they were frightening, of birds and beasts and monsters. And it was many years before Joy and the unicorn went back to Blue Moon Mountain, for it is only once in a blue moon that the owl roars, and the lion hoots, and the moon lays down a path to show the way. The end. I do like at the back of this, it does tell you about all of the creatures that were featured in the story. I've read this book like an obscene amount of times. It's one of those that honestly I'm kind of surprised is like still in one piece. I've always absolutely adored the art in this. If you can get a chance to like find a copy for yourself, I highly recommend it. I don't care how old you are. I'm in my 30s and I still have this. I still love this. Like I was a mythology obsessed child. I'm still a mythology obsessed adult, but this was like such a wonderful like little gift to have. Like the book Fairies by Brian Froud, and then there was the Encyclopedia of Things That Never Were. Again, I'm kind of surprised they're like still in one piece. I have flipped through those books I don't know how many times, but like I consumed everything I could. So I hope you enjoyed. Sorry, like I tried to not, fumble too much. Like I'm a decent, like out loud reader, but like I do have moments where I stumble a little bit. So I think as long as you are ready, unless you're already asleep, in which case I hope you have pleasant spooky dreams, and if not, I hope you enjoy some wonderful, fun, weird, spooky poems. And again, for this, I will try to show the pictures first. I know I messed up on one page. This again has some fantastic art. Like also again, like I highly recommend if you can get yourself a copy, to absolutely do so. Especially if you have little ones yourself. Like I guarantee, if they like weird things, they will like this. So the first poem is called Bedtime Stories. Tell me a story, says the witch's child, about the beast so fierce and wild, about a ghost that shrieks and groans, a skeleton that rattles bones, about a monster, crawly, creepy, something nice to make me sleepy. And the second is the witch's song. I love how many details are in all the pictures. There's just so much going on every page. Early, early comes the dark. Something moves along the ditches. Was that singing? Hark, oh hark, to the chanting of the witches. Come, sisters, come. Let us screech at the windows. Let us blow out the candles and breathe on their hair. We've shadowed the moon and called up the night wind. The owl, the cat, and the broom will be there. Let us turn their blood chill with the sight of our faces. Let us touch them with fingers both crooked and cold. And then, shrilly laughing, we'll be off to the hilltops to frisk and frolic as ways of old. Did you hear them? Were they saying scary things to shake the knees? Or was that but breezes playing in the dry and brittle trees? And then the next is knitted things. There was a witch who knitted things, elephants and playground swings. She knitted rain, she knitted night, but nothing really came out right. lost one tusk, and night looked more like dawn or dusk. The rain was snow, and when she tried to knit an egg, it came out fried. She knitted birds with buttonholes, and 20 rubber butter rolls. She knitted blue Angora trees. She pearl-stitched countless purple fleas. She knitted a palace in need of a darn. She knitted a battle and ran out of yarn. She drew out a strand of her gleaming green hair and knitted a lawn till she just wasn't there. And then we have skeleton spirit and ghosts. Skeleton and spirit. A skeleton once in Khartoum asked a spirit up into his room. They spent the whole night in the eeriest fight as to which should be frightened of whom. And ghosts, a cold and starry darkness moans, and settled wide and still over a jumble of tumbled stones, dark on a darker hill. An owl among those shadowy walls, gray against the gray of ruins and brittle weeds, calls, and soundless swoops away, rustling over scattered stones. Dancers hover and sway, drifting among their bones like webs of the Milky Way. This is The Old Wife and the Ghost. There was an old wife, and she lived all alone in a cottage not far from Hitchin. And one bright night, by the full moonlight, comes a ghost right into her kitchen. About that kitchen, neat and clean, the ghost goes pottering around. But the poor old wife is deaf as a boot, and so never hears a sound. The ghost blows up the kitchen fire, as bold can be. He helps himself from the larder shelf, but never a sound hears she. He blows on his hands to make them warm, and whistles a loud wee. But still as a sack the old soul lies, and never a sound hears she. From corner to corner he runs about, and into the cupboard he peeps. He rattles the door and bumps on the floor, but still the old wife sleeps. Jangle and bang go the pots and pans as he throws them all around, and the plates and mugs and dishes and jugs, he flings them all to the ground. Madly the ghost stares up and down and screams like a storm at sea. And at last the old wife stirs in her bed, and it's "Drat those mice," says she. By the first cock crows and morning shows, and the troublesome ghosts away. But oh, what a pickle the poor wife's tease when she gets up the next day. Them's tidy big mice, the old wife thinks, and off she goes to Hitchin, and a tidy big cat she fetches back to keep the mice from her kitchen. Troll trick. With many a scowl and many a frown, a troll pushed stones and boulders down. The crashing sound made the town folks wonder, is it a troll or is it thunder? But hill folks knew, when the boulders roll, it's always the trick of a terrible troll. The gnome. I saw a gnome, as plain, sitting on top of a weather vane. He was dressed like a crow, in silky black feathers, and there he sat watching all kinds of weathers. He talked like a crow too, caw, 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 when he told me exactly what he saw. Snow to the north of him, sun to the south, and he spoke with a beaky kind of mouth. But he wasn't a crow, that was plain, 'cause crows never sit on a weather vane. What I saw was simply a usual gnome, looking things over on his way home. This is the 7 Ages of Alpha. is as old as a year and a minute. He can wear a cap with a feather in it. By the time that he is 2 times 2, he has a buckle for either shoe. At 20, he is fine as a fiddle, with a little brown belt to go round his middle. When he's lived for 50 years or so, his coat may have buttons all in a row. If past 70 he's grown, 2 pockets he has for his very own. At 82 or 3 years old, they bulge and jingle with bits of gold. But when he's 100 and a day, he gets a little pipe to play. Do fairies like the rain? Do fairies like a rainy day? No, they hide and cry. Their filmy wings, if they got wet, would sag and never fly. Raindrops, raindrops, leave the fairies be. Fall upon the leprechaun or mermaids in the sea. Do pixies like a rainy day, a piping through the dell? The pixies must enjoy the rain, that's when they weave their spell. Raindrops, raindrops, play a pixie tune, but don't fall on the fairies in the pink and green lagoon. Do giants like a rainy day? Oh yes, it makes them shout. They love the large and massive prints their huge boots hollow out. Raindrops, raindrops, giants love the rain, but don't fall on the fairies, or they will all complain. This is sea fairies. Look at the caves at the edge of the sea. If you seek the fairies of spray, they thrive in the dampness of sea and tide, with conch for breakfast and lobsters to ride, with gulls to fly and tides to boom, and the long white wandering waves to roam. Look in the caves, look in the caves. When the spray fairies hide, they flee for caves. They capture a starfish and fling him high, till he hooks on the edge of the cloud-born sky, and there he'll try till they fetch him down. The mischievous fairies that live in the foam, the wayward white-winged fairies of spray, that ride green lobsters out of the bay, then float back in on a horseshoe crab, scamper and turn, and dash for their caves, swept by the waves. Look in the caves, look in the caves. Who would be a mermaid fair, singing alone, combing her hair, under the sea in a golden curl, with a comb of pearl or a throne? I would be a mermaid fair. I would sing to myself the whole of the day. With a comb of pearl I would comb my hair, and still as I combed, I would sing and say, who is it loves me, who loves me not? Who is it loves me, who loves not me? And this one is from Song. I like fish, said the mermaid, and the sharp rustle of waves, and the branching shapes of corals that grow on seamen's graves. I like the wetness and the depth and the silence. I like green caves. This one is always one of my favorites, the Dracula vibe. People on the moon love a pet, but there's only one pet you can get. The Dracula vine, a monstrous sight, but the moon people like it all right. This pet looks like a climbing plant, made from parts of elephant, but each flower's is a hippo's head, endlessly gaping to be fed. Now this pet eats everything, whatever you can shovel or fling. It snaps up all your cardboard boxes, your empty cans, and your stuffed foxes. And wonder of wonders, the very flower you have given something to devour sprouts on the spot a luscious kind of pear, without pips, and you can eat it there. So this is a useful pet, and loyal if well treated. Well tread. But if you treat it badly, it will wander off sadly. So somebody with more garbage than you gives its flowers something to do. What's that? What's that? Who's there? There's a great, huge, horrible, creeping up the stair. A huge, big, terrible, with creepy, crawly hair. There's a ghastly, ghastly, with 7 slimy eyes, and flabby, grabby tentacles of a gigantic size. He's crept into my room now. He's leaning over me. I wonder if he's thinking how delicious I will be. This is in the pitch of night. In the pitch of the night, when there isn't a light, comes a very bad rabbit with a horrible habit of filling my head with dangers, wanting to take me through forests where strangers and ghoulies high in the trees try to leap out at me. So I say, listen here, rabbit, I'm sick of your habit. I've had enough of your nightmarish fright. This bed is my bed, not some rabbit-filled head of monsters and dragons and weird plants that bite. Now get out of my room. Go on your way. Sleep has to come before night turns to day. Ghost sounds. When the moon rides high up overhead, and I am snug and warm in bed. In the autumn dark, the ghosts move round, making their mournful moaning sound. I listen to know when the ghosts go by. I hear a wail, I hear a sigh, but I can't quite tell which I hear the most, the wind or the wail of some passing ghost. It's from an old Cornish litany, from ghoulies and ghosties and long-leggedy beasties and all things that go bump in the night. Good Lord, deliver us. And that is the end. I love this so much. I always love looking at the pictures and like they're so detailed, and I always feel like there's something to notice.